Please.
Good afternoon, Vice Chairman and Senators. My name is Cindy Siegel. I'm the chairman of the Harris County Republican Party, and I'm here testifying in support of SB 1911. Just background information, I'm a CPA, 40 years experience. I have, in fact, been an election judge, a precinct chair about 6 to 8 years ago when we actually had precinct voting versus the countywide. But I have to tell you, in 40 years of doing business as a CPA, I have seen a lot of mismanaged companies, but I have never seen anything so egregiously, grossly mismanaged as the elections in Harris County this past year. I thought it was only going to be the March primary, but as we continued through the year with May 7th, May 24th, and then the general election in November 2022, it just continued to get worse. Our local party, due to the fact that many times the election administrator's office, the EA's office, wouldn't respond to our election judges, we initiated a project where we got experienced election judges to head up what we called a rapid response team. And Mr. Sumachek here is representative of that. And that team was there for our election judges if they could not get through to the EA's help desk, which happened multiple times. So in November, we expanded it so we covered the entire county. Our rapid response team started hearing the morning of November 8th that several of our experienced election judges were afraid that they were actually going to run out of paper. Alan Vera, who chairs our ballot security committee, our staff, and I communicated this real concern to the EA via emails, texts, and phone calls starting early in the morning. You will hear from some testimony today from some of our election judges, as well as clerks, rapid response team members, and one of our employees about the desperation that our election workers were experiencing as they had to turn away voters due to a lack of ballot paper. I still have a text to the Harris County EA when one of our polls that we had notified them was running out of paper early in the morning. Around 1 p.m., I said, Cliff, this middle school has run out of paper. Do we really need to be arguing with your staff about getting enough ballot paper delivered? Our executive director later in the afternoon, after we'd heard from almost 20 polls that were running out of paper or close to it, Cliff, someone on your staff has set you up and the voters up. Furthermore, due to a court order, because some of the polls didn't open until after 10 a.m., the election judges were ordered to keep the polls open until 8 p.m., even in light of the concerns about ballot paper. The final blow to the voters and candidates came at approximately 7:30 p.m. when the Harris County EA posted in direct violation of the election code the results of early voting, even though the polls had been ordered and were staying open until 8 p.m. Since November 8th, we have received at our party headquarters over 3,000 complaints about how badly the November 8th election was run by the EA. These complaints include voters who were turned away from a poll due to lack of ballot paper. Earlier this year, Houston's Channel 11 did an investigative piece looking into data provided by the county and found over 120 polls were not delivered enough ballot paper based upon the historical voter turnout in those polling areas. And you've got a heat map that one of our precinct chairs, who's sort of a data geek, he took that information, overlaid it with a Republican heat map, and found that it is statistically impossible, it is not random, that these polls, the majority lied in Republican voting areas. Much is said today about what voter suppression is. We talk about election integrity. We talk about voters having their rights suppressed. But to put it simply, voter suppression is when you go to vote and there's not enough ballot paper to record that vote. Voter suppression is when the polls are allowed to stay open until 8, but some of the polls don't have enough ballot paper, and you have to drive around trying to find a poll with ballot paper. Voter suppression is when early voting results are publicized before the polls actually close. As Senator Bettencourt stated publicly in November, the state legislature shouldn't have to legislate that an EA should provide polls with sufficient ballot paper. But this is where we are today. Whether it was gross mismanagement or malfeasance on the part of the Harris County Elections Administration, please support Senate Bill 1911 and increase the penalties in these circumstances. Send a strong message to all the county clerks and election administrators that what happened in Harris County, how the voters and the candidates' rights were suppressed on November 8th, that this will not be tolerated in the state of Texas. Thank you.